Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp filed an 8K announcing a new auditor, and I am seeing one detail that is a bit unusual. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company is switching its accounting firm, which is normal. But there is a detail here about their past interactions with the new firm that catches my eye. So what is an 8? Think of it as a company's way of telling the public about major events that happen between their regular quarterly or annual reports. It is like a breaking news alert for investors. This particular filing is about a change in the company's auditors. EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp is the company we are looking at today. They are involved in the nuclear energy sector, which is obviously a hot topic right now. Scroll EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp, exact name of registrant as specified in its charter. Scroll this part just confirms their official name. Scroll Nevada, state or other jurisdiction of incorporation. Scroll they are incorporated in Nevada. Scroll 001 negative 43,162. Commission file number scroll, this is their file number with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Or SEC scroll 41 to 3,113,978. Heirs employer identification number scroll. And this is their employer identification number from the IRS. Scroll 5,470 Kayetskeet Lane, Suite 300 Funded Suites. Scroll, this is their principal executive office address. Basically where their main operations are based. This section lists the company's publicly traded securities. So they have common stock. This is the most basic type of stock a company can issue, and it usually gives shareholders voting rights. This is the ticker symbol for their common stock on the NASDAQ. You'd use this to look up the stock price. This tells us where their common stock is traded. They also have warrants now. Warrants are a bit like options. They give the holder the right, but not the obligation, to buy a company's stock at a specific price, in this case $11.5 per S-share, before a certain date. This is the ticker symbol for their warrants. You can see it is similar to the stock ticker, just with a W added. These warrants are also traded on the NASDAQ. Scroll Emerging Growth Company X and Scroll EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp has checked this box, meaning they are considered an emerging growth company. This status gives them certain regulatory benefits and allows them to phase in compliance with new accounting standards, which can reduce their reporting burden. Alright, let's get to the main event of this filing. This section is all about changes in their auditors. Companies have to have their financial statements checked by an independent accounting firm or auditor every year. So the company had already decided to bring on a new accounting firm called CB's CPAs. They had picked them to audit their books for the fiscal year that ends on the 30th of November of 2026. This is a standard procedure, but it usually requires the new firm to go through some checks to make sure they are a good fit and that they can take on the client. And now on the 5th of August, the new accounting firm CB CPAs has finished those checks and officially agreed to be the company's auditor. This is the core announcement of the filing. It is common for companies to change auditors, sometimes because they want a fresh perspective or perhaps the old firm's contract is up, or even due to disagreements. Scroll during the fiscal year ended the 30th of November, 2025 and for the period from the 14th of December 2023, inception through the 30th of November 2024, and the subsequent interim period through the date of this report. Neither the company nor anyone on its behalf consulted CB CPAs regarding either the application of accounting principles to a specified transaction, either completed or proposed, or the type of audit opinion that might be rendered with respect to the consolidated financial statements of the company. And no written report or oral advice was provided to the company by CBAs that was an important factor considered by the company in reaching a decision as to any accounting, auditing, or financial reporting issue, or any matter that was the subject of a disagreement as defined in Item 304, A1 Eve of Regulation S. K and the related instructions or a reportable event, as that term is so defined in Item 304, A1 Regulation S K'd scroll. Now, this part is interesting and a bit of a mouthful. The company is stating that they did not consult with CB's CPAs about any accounting issues or get any advice from them before this official engagement. This means there were no complex accounting questions they needed help with from CB's CPAs, and there were no disagreements or reportable events. When a company changes auditors, regulators want to know if the previous auditor had any major issues with the company's accounting, or if the company was trying to get advice on how to handle a tricky accounting situation. By saying they had no prior consultations or disagreements, EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp is essentially telling the SEC that this auditor change is clean and doesn't stem from any underlying accounting problems or disputes with the previous auditors. It is a way to reassure investors that this isn't a sign of trouble. This section is about Regulation FD, which stands for Fair Disclosure. It is a rule that aims to prevent companies from selectively sharing important information with certain people, like analysts or big investors, before releasing it to the general public. Scroll on the 5th of August 2026. The company issued a press release announcing the engagement of CB's CPAs. The press release, a copy of the press release, is furnished as Exhibit 99.1 to this current report on Form 8K Scroll. So, on the same day they officially hired the new auditor, the company also put out a press release to announce this news. This filing is just making that press release an official part of their SEEK records. It is good practice for transparency. Scroll the information in Item 7.01 of this current report on Form 8K, including the press release furnished as Exhibit 99.1 hereto shall not be deemed filed for purposes of Section 18 of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. As amended, the Exchange Act or otherwise subject to the liabilities of that section, nor shall it be deemed incorporated by reference in any filing under the Securities Act of 1933, as amended, or the Exchange Act, except as expressly set forth by specific reference in such a filing. Scroll. This is a standard disclaimer. It means that while they are providing the press release as part of this filing, they are not legally responsible for the content of that press release, in the same way they are for other parts of the SEC filing. It is a way to share information without taking on all the legal liabilities. Scroll item 9.01, Financial Statements and Exhibits. Scroll. This section lists any exhibits that are attached to the filing. Scroll exhibit number description. Scroll. This is the table that lists the exhibits. Scroll 99.1 press release, dated the 5th of August 2026. Scroll. Here it is. Exhibit 99.1 is the press release announcing the engagement of CB's CPAs. Scroll 104 cover page interactive data file, embedded within the inline XBRL document. Scroll. And this is a standard exhibit for modern SEC filings. It is an interactive data file, basically making the information in the filing machine readable and easier to analyze. This is where the company officially signs off on the report. Scroll. Pursuant to the requirements of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. The registrant has duly caused this report to be signed on its behalf by the undersigned hereunder duly authorized. Scroll. This just confirms that the report has been properly authorized and signed by someone with the authority to do so. Scroll. EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp. Date, the 5th of August 2026, per milliampere Navdeep Mukherjee name. Manavdeep Mukherjee title, Chief Executive Officer and Chairman. Scroll. And here we have the signature of Manavdeep Mukherjee, the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp. Signing off on this report on the 5th of August 2026. Looking at this filing, the main takeaway is the change of auditors. EAGL Nuclear Energy Corp is switching to CBA's CPAs. What caught my attention was the explicit statement that they had no prior consultations or disagreements with the new firm regarding accounting matters. This usually means the company is trying to signal to investors that this auditor change is routine, and not a reaction to any accounting problems or disputes with their previous auditor. It is like saying, we're just cleaning house, no skeletons here. However, it is always worth keeping an eye on auditor changes. Sometimes a clean break like this can precede a period of significant financial restructuring or strategic shifts. The fact that they are an emerging growth company also means they have some flexibility in reporting, which is common for smaller, newer companies. The main risk I am watching is how this auditor change might align with any future strategic moves in the nuclear energy sector, especially given their warrants are trading and could be exercised if the stock price goes up. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going, that is my take. Stay decoded. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more. Join our Discord community for deeper dives.